Okay. So good morning once again. To kickstart, I'll call on Pastor Mayowa to help us with the opening prayer. And then right after that, an introduction of Eden Center.
Great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. In Jesus' name, Lord, we thank you for this morning, and thank you, Lord, for the gathering of your people. Thank you, Lord, for the purpose that we have gathered. We ask, Lord, that all of the deliberations, all of the discussions will be inspired by you. We ask, Lord, that the guest speaker of today will speak to your people, both from his experience, but also based on your inspiration, and your people shall be blessed in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Mayowa. So dive straight into the agenda of the day. And I'd love you also to give an introduction of Eden Center and then the purpose of our interest groups.
Thank you. Great. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining in. So I'll talk a little bit about Eden Center, and then why we sort of like have interest groups, and what we do as part of the interest groups. Eden Center is a church based out of Lagos. We are set to raise a generation that takes over territories, right? And essentially for us, a big part of our mission is developing the total man. And so not just, growing people spiritually, right? But also catering to sort of their emotional, their sort of like, growth needs and developmental needs, right? And so that's part of essentially what gave birth to the interest groups. The interest groups are really born out of very simple idea that when you bring people of like minds, like interests together, it's just much easier for them to network. It's just much easier for them to learn among each other, right? And so we created different, essentially small, right? That share one thing in common, right? Which is sort of like a particular interest, right? And so we have professional interest groups such as the white collar bloc, but we also have other groups, right? For example, people who are interested in like books. And so as far as you basically share that common interest, you're able to join that group, and you're able to sort of like then network and connect with like minds, right? So we do have quite a number of interest groups, right? So we've got the white collar bloc, which is a group for our professionals, right? Working professionals. We also have sort of like an entrepreneurship interest group for people who are in business. We've got a fashion interest group for people who are sort of in the fashion space. We've got like a media interest group. We have a book reading club. We also have like a millennials group. For people who are sort of within sort of like that bracket, right? Or even millennials that mind, right? And so the idea is, you can be part of this group. You can then sort of like network, and you can join as many groups as meet your interest. Our interest groups typically meet, just like this, once a month, where we meet together, bring like an external speaker to talk to us on like topic of interest. And there also then WhatsApp and Telegram groups that allow us to continue to connect virtually all through the year. So I would encourage anyone, if you aren't in an interest group, or if you would actually like to learn more, you can also reach out to Sononye, or you can sort of like message me as well, to let you know about the different interests and how you can be part of it. Thank you. Nonya, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pastor Maiwa, for the insights about Eden Center and our interest groups. And I would love for everyone on the call to reach out to us as regards any of the interest groups that you would really love to join. So I'll dive straight into the next agenda, which is an introduction of the white collar block. So I'll make this very, very brief so that we can dive straight into the main presentation. So White Collar Block is an interest group by Eden Center, and our goal is to support working professionals. And then we have our mission and our vision. Our vision is to raise spirit-led professionals. And then our mission also is to empower our members with the prerequisite skills that enable them to succeed in all spheres of life. So we have our values. Our values are what drives us. So we believe in having a God first mindset, meaning that we should put God first in everything that we do. We believe 100% in honesty, doing the right things at all times, even when no one is watching. We believe in commitment to lifelong learning. We have to be committed to learning and continuous improvement. And then we believe so much in selflessness, living not for yourself alone, but for others. And then at White Collar Block, we have several engagements in terms of reading books that would inspire us to greatness, and then competitions. And then in the last quarter of the year, we're looking at putting together an outreach program. And I hope that would happen by the grace of God. And then right after this session, we would implore for everyone to fill in the feedback form so that we can improve on the work that we do and then impact more lives. So right after the call also would send in some links to join our WhatsApp group to make the conversations more community driven. So if you're comfortable with the WhatsApp group or the Telegram group, that's fine. And you can always visit us at our church at Pison Court, +3 Wire Road, Onike. And then I look forward to a great session and then further communication with everyone. So I'll dive straight into introducing the speaker. So we have on the call Tubi David. I want to be able to share his profile. Okay. So I'll dive straight into sharing the speaker's profile. So I'm super excited about this session. So Tubi David is a design strategist. So it distills people's behavior to build brands and experiences that connect and create sustainable competitive advantage for brands in the market. Executed brand, product, and experience design across different sectors, including banking, finance, legal, oil and gas, fashion, technology, manufacturing, and entertainment. So he's currently the lead design strategist at Bloc, a brand, product, and experience design firm. So he combines both left and right brain capabilities with a wide range of interests. So I know David to literally help brands transform, right? So he indulges a lot in design thinking, in brand innovation and design. So I don't know if I did justice to his profile. Well, I'll call on Tubi David to do justice to his bio and then to the topic in which that was literally the reason why everyone joined the call. So over to you, David, Tubi. I don't know whether we can do a round of applause to welcome me or say welcome, David.
Thank you so very much, Noe. Thank you for that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction once again. I mean, you did justice to it. So thank you for having me. Thank you to Eden Center for having me. Thank you to Eden Interest Group also for having me. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to you for joining. I'm sure we'll have a very nice time today. I mean, filled with knowledge and insight. All right. Okay. So I don't know if I can share my screen now, so that I can dive into what I have. Okay. Yes, I
Yes,
can.
you can. I've made you a co-host, so you can share your
All right.
screen.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Okay. I hope everyone can see my screen. All right. So I titled this brand new, creating a compelling personal brand that connects. I am very heavy on brand that connects. Why? Because the word branding has been abused to be perception creation, look and feel. You know, why logo, why identities are very important. I mean, why it's really good to have really nice identity. When you think deep, you realize that the brands that you love, the brands that you love the most are not as a result of the look and feel. It's not really because of the way they look or the way they feel or the appearance to you, basically. So if you think about Mercedes Benz, if you think about Coca-Cola, for those that love Coca-Cola, if you think about Apple, the first thing that comes to your mind is really not their logo. In fact, some of us don't even know the color of the brand color of Apple. The first thing that comes to your mind is not that. The first thing that comes to your mind is how that brand makes you feel, right? So most of the time, brand identity or visual designs are tools to communicate the essence of the brand, right? So this is brand new, and my goal for this session is to help you define your brand and then help you to be able to tell your brand story effectively, right? Okay, yeah. So one of the questions I always ask myself when I work on any project or before I start any project is why branding. I am so sure we all here came with so many questions in our mind. And the truth is that when you define your brand by what you do, right? When you define your brand by what you do, your growth and impact will be stunted. Um, Define your brand by why you do it, and the world is yours. I would explain this. I just want you to go with me on this journey. I will take us on a strong logical journey because this is supposed to be a masterclass. So I will take us on a strong logical journey to land on where we should be. Um, so why do people define themselves, or what does it mean when people define themselves by what they do? So take for example, a doctor introduces his or herself as a doctor, right? Um, when they ask you, who are you, right? I am David Tubi, I am a doctor, right? Now what happens is that you are defining yourself by your means to the end that you're supposed to go to. You are defining who you are by what you do currently right now. And that's really one of the reasons why so many people get to a point where the yearning inside of them is really not being fulfilled, or they get tired of the job and then they get to a point in their life that they are confused. In fact, brands that defines themselves by what they do usually get to a point where the sales start to drop and they just fizzle out of the market. I mean, COVID showed us that. There's so many brands that couldn't make it out of COVID because they have defined themselves by what they do, right? They haven't been able to connect with people beyond what they do. So I will take us on a journey of why, and I will build it such that we all here can have a clear definition or can articulate who we are as a brand, and then how best we can communicate our brand essence. So when you define yourself by what, by why, by why am I in a certain job? Why am I taking up this opportunity? Why am I doing this? Then I believe that the world is yours, right? So it's that clarity that I will really help us achieve in this session. All right, so let's get started. Good. So while I was preparing for this, I saw this quote, and this did a great justice to what I will actually do here today. So the best and the most difficult thing in the world cannot be said. Let this sink in well. So it means that the best thing is not Maserati. It means that the best thing is not having apartment all over the world. Yeah. It means that the best thing in the world is not even you smashing that your door, right? The best thing in the world is not the money or the promotion that you're currently aspiring to get, right? While branding will help you achieve it, but then branding, your personal brand isn't all about your net. Your personal brand isn't all about me helping you to get the next job. But your personal brand is way beyond that. So this quote says that the best thing and the most beautiful thing in the world cannot be seen or even touched, right? I believe strongly that, it is even right there in the scriptures, right? The things that are unseen are eternal, while the things that are seen are temporal. But what happens most of the time is that we build our brand around the things that we see, and then remove the intrinsic value, the essence, what should determine what is saying, right? So you shouldn't build your brand around how you look. While your look is important, you should never build your brand around how you look, because another person with a better look will come and would automatically displace you out of the market. You shouldn't build your brand around the presentation or the type of hairstyle that you do. You shouldn't build your brand around drapes, right? Because fashion will change, trends will evolve. But you shouldn't build your brand around trends, because trends will always change. And the moment you don't move with that particular trend, you get fizzled out of the market. So which is one of the reasons why brands that mean so much to us, brands that mean so much to us, have been able to connect with us beyond what they sell. Take, for example, Apple. Apple doesn't tell you about the megabytes or the quality camera of their devices. They communicate what you can do with their product to you. How about how they make life and living better? Their brand is built on that. How they make life and living better. Obama won a campaign by selling an idea to people, by selling hope to people, right? In fact, Christianity, right, from brand perspective, I know that I'm speaking with church fellow, but Christianity is built on an idea. Is built on an idea, right? If you critically look at it well, Christianity is built on an idea. The biggest terrorist in the world builds his terrorism on an idea, which is one of the reasons why Why brands should never build their products around build their brand around what they do, right? Because another better product will come. Why it is important for you to maintain your functional value, which is what you do, right? But you don't define your brand by what you do. You don't build your brand. You don't build your brand around the what you see and what you can touch. You build your brand around what the heart can feel, what can be felt by the heart. So what is, so the question I have to myself is, what is that thing? What is that thing that, what is that thing to be felt by the heart? What is really that powerful thing that makes brand stick, that makes brand, that makes a successful brand? So now let me say this. When building brands, there are two major things that brands are built on, right? Perceived value and experience value, or a functional benefit and then the emotional benefits, right? So let me use perceived value and experience value, right? Your perceived value is how people see you. It's how people see you. You look and feel. I mean, for brands, it could be your logo, your patterns, your style of communication, your art, things like that. Your experience value is when people meet you, what do they experience? Do they experience what you projected to them or not, right? But at the core of that is the functional benefit and the emotional benefit. Now, the functional benefit for every brand is your leg in any industry, right? So take, for example, you're a doctor, you're passionate about people, and then you studied medicine, you're a doctor, you're a certified doctor. Now, your functional benefit is what is expected of the doctor, what is expected of every doctor. So it means that you must push that and make that and actually be the best of what you do. But you don't build your brand around that. Why? Because so many people can replicate that. It is, you build your brand around your emotional benefits, right? That means that space in people's lives that you feel that no one else gets to feel it. So as a doctor, what are the emotional outcomes you deliver that no one in your industry currently delivers? Or there's that you know industry to deliver that. So take, for example, as an accountant. So you don't build your brand as an accountant. You don't build your brand around what you do as an accountant, because that is a functional benefit, right? You build your brand around the emotional benefit, the emotional outcome you want to deliver. You want to give people every time they come in contact with you. So that's a core brand building. So what is to be felt by the heart? I mean, simple, an idea, your own unique idea. I mean, like what I've said. So you don't build a brand around what you do. Now, I mean, I want us to just carefully follow me on this journey, right? I've taken us on a journey of the fact that you don't build a brand around what you do, right? While what you do is very key in helping you build your brand, but you don't define your brand by what you do. So if you have been calling yourself, if you have been defining yourself as just a doctor, you haven't been doing great justice to your brand, right? You'll get to a point where your impact and your growth is going to be stunted, right? So you build your brand around an idea of an outcome that you deliver on that no one in your industry is currently delivering on. So even if you're a comedian, I mean, there's so many comedians in your space, right? You don't build your brand as a comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I mean, don't build your brand as a comedian. What makes you different from every other person? And why you're functional, why you must deliver quality jokes, but you have to push it beyond that. What do you want to leave with everyone that come in contact with your brand? I mean, that is one of that's the route to building a very solid brand. I mean, COVID made a lot of brands to die. In fact, yeah, because I mean, it made a lot of brands to die because the truth is that whether you're deliberate about building your brand or not, you are actually building a brand. So COVID made a lot of brands to die. While COVID was an opportunity for a brand that is intentional about what they do to actually scale up. Now, one of the brands that we have internally, when COVID happened, I mean, we had a meeting immediately, and um, and we directed the brand communication, right, to focus back on the core essence of the brand. I mean, I am a firm believer that people don't want to be sold to. We all don't want to be sold to. We all know when someone is trying to sell to us. People want to feel. People want to feel connected. People want to see the fact that you have deliberately created the solution for them. And when you when you communicate a solution that you have created for people in a way that they can easily understand it, people naturally gravitate towards it. So people don't want to be sold to, people want to feel connected. I mean, people to a very large extent want to be part of an idea. So which is one of the reasons why when Nike launched the Just Do It idea, I mean, it skyrocketed their sales. Why? Because people were motivated, people were inspired to actually just do more. In fact, it was said that that campaign was so strong that people were just filing for divorce easily. Like people were just leaving their marriages. Why? Because they felt what's holding you back from doing what you want to do. If you're not happy, why not just file for divorce? Basically. But then at the core of the brand just wanted to inspire athletes and athletics, basically. And that is really what in that Nike brand is built up. Even when you see their communication, they don't just sell product to us, they sell an idea to us. So back to personal brands, idea is the most important thing. It's the most important thing that you can build your brand around. So why do I exist, right? Why should people care? Now, it is worthy of note, or it is important for me to say that your brand is not about you. It's not about you reaching your goals. While that is important, while that will happen, but you don't build your brand around you reaching your goals, right? So as we go along in this conversation, I will demystify so many mental models that we built that they've told us around branding. I will demystify it and I just want us to approach this masterclass with a very open mind because I will do this the conventional way of branding, and then I would I will take us on a journey, or I'm taking us on a journey of the proper way to actually build your brand, right? So an idea is the most powerful thing you can build your brand around. Your why do I exist? Why should people care? So, like I was saying, you shouldn't build your brand around your goals, what you want to achieve in life. It should be built around what you want to help people achieve in life, basically. So, there was one transcript of an interview that I heard or that I read of Otedola, right? So this person interviewing him asked him, so what's the most important to you right now? What's the most important thing to you right now? And then he said that, I've been on several journey, right? There was a time in my life that I just thought all I just needed to do was to acquire a lot of wealth, like work very hard, acquire a lot of wealth, make a lot of money. And I did that, but I was still not fulfilled, right? I was still not fulfilled. So which is one of the reasons why for me, right, your brand should never, should never be built around career success. It is important because when you achieve that career success, you feel empty. Your brand should never be built around what you do or what you want to achieve. Getting a car, getting a house, making sales. Because once you do that, you will feel like, yeah, there's still something. Because human needs and wants are insatiable. That's like the basic economics, right? Because you will continue to desire more, you continue to want more. So he said that when he acquired a lot of wealth, that wasn't actually enough for him. And then he moved to the next thing. He started buying things, buying material things, buying properties, buying businesses, breaking businesses and selling businesses. That he thought buying things would give him that fulfillment, right? And when he acquired those things, also he realized that really didn't do justice. I mean, that's left a very big hole in his heart, right? And he said that there was a day that one of his friends invited him, to come present something or to be part of a charity donation. The friend told him to donate wheelchair to kids that have wheelchairs. And he said, okay, why not? Let me donate 200 wheelchairs. And the friend pushed it forward and then said, why not just come to donate this thing? I mean, to present this thing to these kids. And he reworked his schedule and he made himself available for it, right? So he got there, he presented it. While he was going, one of the kids held his leg and didn't let go. And I had to lean towards the child and said that, what else do you want? Right? I'm giving you a wheelchair. Do you want money? Let me give you money if money is what you want. And the child just looked up to him and then just said, thank you. And he said at that point, he felt a kind of fulfillment that he had never felt before in his life, right? And that is really what brands are built around, that feeling, that feeling of helping people be better, of helping the world a better place, of helping other people to live a better life. So it means that as you're building your products, as you're building your product brand, your business brand, as you're building your personal brand, you shouldn't build it around making sales. You should build it around solving a problem in people's life, right? In making life and living better for people. Why? Because, like I've been saying, by the time you acquire those things, you realize that there's still more. There's still a yearning. And that yearning can only, in fact, God created us in a way that yearning can only be fulfilled with the unseen things. You cannot fill that thing with material needs, with career success. God so designed it. So brands are actually built around that. All right, so having said that, I needed to lay that before we move into the technical part of brand building. So I will take us on the journey of the process to build your brand. The process to build, there's a logical framework to it. There's a logical flow to it. So the first thing you do is not even talk about your look and feel. While the way you look, the way you appear, they say that perception is reality. You have to package where this and that. But that is not what branding is. That's not what branding is. That's a tool to achieving something. In fact, I tell people that you can have a strong brand without having a logo. You can have a strong brand without having a logo. If you're deliberate about your brand creation, if you're intentional about building your brand. In fact, one of the things that I tell SMEs is, right, you need to have a brand strategy first. when you're launching your brand, when you're hitting the markets. As much as your identity, your visual designs are important, right? But they are not the most important thing in brand building. Your brand strategy must come first. Now, the journey I'm going to take us the journey of first brand strategy to how we can then explore the brand. So I place this as I designed this thing around what I call 3 steps to sunshine, right? 3 steps to having the best brand in the world. Yeah, I mean, because I know that that's everyone's dream. I mean, having a brand that really connects with people. That's when you leave the world, people will remember you not just for the money that you've acquired, but how you have impacted and how you made the world better. I mean, Steve Jobs left the world, and we all remember him not because of the money that he has made. Right? I mean, he was even never the richest man in the world. But because of the impact his brand has made, in fact, because of the footprint left in the universe, or because of the dent, like what he would say, because of the dent he has left in the universe. Jesus Christ, right? He wasn't the richest guy. He wasn't the richest guy in the world, but his brand was so strong that we still call his name today to gain access, right? You know, it is one of the reasons why Yoruba will say that a good name is better than silver or gold, right? Now, the process of building that great name is must be intentional. Now, it is worthy to state that whether you build your brand or not, you are building your brand. I mean, it is one of the reasons why if I tell you, if I ask everyone of us, what comes to mind when you think about Abacha? Yeah, when you think about Abacha, what comes to your mind? I am sure we will all have different negative words. Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear you now. We lost you for a bit when you're talking about Abacha.
Audible now.
Okay, good. Okay, so I was saying that when you think about Abacha, right, what comes to your mind? You think about corruption, you think about this and that. But the truth is that whether Abacha intentionally built that brand or not, Abacha was actually building that brand. So it means that the kind of job you take on as a career person, yeah, it would affect your brand building at the end of the day. In fact, I strongly believe that people are not lazy, people are just not motivated. Now, because of our environment, right, we have been conditioned to be motivated with money because of poverty. But what real branding will help you do is to help you define that thing that steers your motivation, such that it determines the type of job you take. It determines how you actually build that job, how you actually go around that job. Because whether you're intentional about building your career, if you're actually building your career, if you're a career person, or if you're running a business, whether you're intentional about building your business as well, you are building your business, you are building a business. So it is one of the reasons why, as much as I love the name founder, CEO, when I work on personal brands, right, I tell people that you will not be defined as a CEO or as a founder. We have to find your brand essence, because when we determine that your brand essence, you can diversify. You know that you are serving as the CEO of this company for now, but it will get to a point where you realize that you want more, and then you need to push into other things. So it helps you be able to grow. It helps you to be able to connect. It helps you to not just evaluate your success around the money that you've acquired, which is one of the reasons why so many people are depressed. So many people are depressed because they feel that they are not making the money that they should make. They evaluate themselves around with people or with their colleagues, and then they realize that they're not hitting the jackpot that they should make. But that's really not what your brand should be built around. So I titled this 3 steps to sunshine. The first thing is extracting the truth, while the second thing is expressing the truth. While the third one is exuding the truth, right? So the first one is extracting the truth. Yeah, so I might move really, really very fast with this. Why? Because there's a whole lot that I want us to do. So extracting the truth, it means that you must have a mission statement. While every successful brand in the world have a mission statement, every personal brand also should have a mission statement, a vision statement, and then a personal brand statement. So I would just take us on how to determine this. We call this in branding, we call this brand foundations. So this is what you build everything on. So you have to first define this. So this is like you laying the foundation that you're building everything on. Because when people come to me and tell me, what do you think about it? Right? When they tell me that, what do you think about this logo? The next question that I ask them is, what are you trying to communicate? Right? Because your logo is an identity. What are you visualizing in the identity? What you visualize in the identity determines whether it is actually good or not. So your mission statement, right? So these are the key things that must be in your mission statement. So a noun that describes you, teacher, learner, strategist, farmer, etc. Adverbs that describe how you express yourself: educate, inspire, sell, run. Then the last thing is a clearly articulated goal and objective. I will show us a sample mission statement, right? See, to act as a guide to educate, inspire, and empower young African people and businesses towards the discovery and achievement of purpose, right? So you will see, yeah, that the mission statement is not designed around what I want out of life. This sample mission statement is not designed around what this person wants out of life. It was designed around what this person wanted to help other people achieve in life, right? So there was a strategy session I was having with a company, and then they told me, when we came up with their vision statement, and they told us that, we're expecting you to say, to be the Fortune 500 company, to be the world global. And I immediately told them that while that used to be a way to write vision statements, so I said that style of vision statement is outdated, right? Why? Because we are in a world of connectivity. People are seeking connection, right? So to run or build a successful company, you must give them a reason to connect with you. And that reason is not your product. It's not what you do. It is the role you are fulfilling in their life. It is what you want to help them achieve, right? So So it is worthy for us to take note of all these things when we're building our vision, our mission statement. Like I said earlier on, a noun that describes you, a verb that describes how you express yourself, and then a clearly articulated goal or objective. Now the next thing is your vision statement. So here it should be written in present tense as if you have already achieved it. The next thing is that it should have strong descriptors to create a vivid picture, making it feel possible to achieve. The next one is it is clear, powerful, and engages you to want to achieve it. It must be clear. It must be powerful. It must engage you enough to want to achieve it. So a well-written vision statement helps you consciously move from what currently is to what should be, right? So if you're building a career, it is important for you to have your own well-crafted vision statements, your own well-crafted vision statements, right? And then this is the sample vision statement, right? So elements of this, the big picture, what you have, the world you wish to impact, the impacts you would bring to the world, right? So this says, I am globally renowned as a brand development specialist who helps young African people and businesses discover their unique paths to success, then guide their development in line with that discovery so they can become viable brand, making optimal impact in the world, right? Note the elements here are the big picture, what you want to achieve, and the impacts you want to leave in the world. I know that I have 30 minutes to take this. So I will just try, I will just run, but then I will leave this presentation with us. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll share it with everyone after this session. All right, so now you then move. So having developed your vision, your personal brand statement should have solution and benefit you offer, your target market. Please tell me whenever you're not hearing me very well, because it is important that that everyone hears what I'm saying. All right, so you should have solutions, benefits you offer, your target market, your experience, expertise, skills, and credentials, your differentiation and niche. You know, I said earlier on at the beginning of this conversation that two things makes a brand successful, right? Brands are built on two core things, right? Your functional benefit and your emotional benefit, right? So you must be rooted on something. You must be rooted on some. You don't just. In fact, why most brands fail is that they create perception that they can't meet up to. In fact, there was a time Bank PhD was running a campaign, and they were saying that very soon bank cars will start running on water, right? They ran a campaign by saying that impossibility is not in our dictionary. They created a strong perceived value, which is what people call branding, right? They created a strong perceived value. They communicated that strong perceived value to people. But immediately people walked into their brand, into any of their offices, people met impossibilities. Like if you know Bank page well, you will know that feel the lazy people that are not inspired. So they didn't deliver on their promise. So while you craft your vision, while you craft your brand statement, it is important that you deliver on it. You deliver on everything you promise. So if at the core of your career is not just putting books together, is to is to help build businesses, or is to help achieve certain results for people or for organizations. You must, it means that because you want to do that, that fuels you to do certifications that you need to be able to deliver your brand promise, right? That forces you to take on courses. That forces you to even quit a job that is not helping you achieve your personal goal. That forces you to make certain decisions about your life that is in line with your brand. I mean, there's so many people right here. At the end of this topic, you'll realize that what you're doing is really not in line with your personal brand. It's not in line with what you really want to achieve with your life, right? And some of us might have to stop certain things. Why? Because the earlier you stop it, the better for you. Because whether you are building a brand or not, you are actually building the brand. And at the end of the day, life is a sum total of feelings we live with people, right? Not what we have acquired. So, which is one of the reasons why you have to be deliberate about what you do right now. You as a comedian, your destination is not comedy. What you want to achieve in people's lives is actually not comedy. There's that outcome that gives you joy, that you want to live in the heart. I mean, there's a dent that everyone should live. And I strongly believe that that's the reason why God has created everyone. So your brand, your personal brand value should, okay, so this is a sample personal brand. I draw upon my training and experience in brand development and communication to help young African people and businesses formulate and implement customized brand development plans. Note, this brand statement, it is still not about me. It is about what I want to achieve with people. It is about the feeling I want to live with people, right? It is not about what I want to achieve. Your brand should never be built around what you want to achieve in life. It should be about what you want to help people achieve in life, right? Okay, so let's move forward to expressing the truth. So, right, for everyone, whether you like it or not, you call out the target market. I will tell us, later on how this is very key in exuding our brands, in communicating our brand. In fact, how so many people are making certain mistakes around it. So I strongly believe that when I create brands, one of the things that I try to do is I try to break myths. There are some brands that don't need a website. There are some brands that you don't need a website, but because of tradition, you think I must have a website. Brand. Your target audience determines where you position your brand. Now we're moving into brand positioning spectrum, right? So the first rule in marketing is you don't take people to where your brand is. You take your brand to where you take your brand to where your target audience are. So which is one of the reasons why for personal brands, it is important that you clearly define your target audience, right? So here, it says student about to graduate, fresh graduates, young professionals who are on campus, NYC camp, and urban dwellings. They are certain about their career paths and what the labor market holds for them, and greatly desire clarity and guidance. So this is the target audience of this person, of this case study that I'm using to explain this personal branding. So now customer insights. So what is that unique thing that you realize about them that you're building your brand around? So so they have this feeling, they have this yearning. I don't want to be unemployed without income and dependent, so I would do anything to survive and make money. So this is the problem that you're building your brand around, that you're building your solution around. See, like I told us, there's a journey to visual design. There's a journey to look and feel. I'm not saying the way you look is not important, because to foster connection, you have to look a certain way to be able to appeal to people. There's branding, there's brand communication. Now, brand communication is next. There is where I will wrap this up. So it is important. In fact, one of the things that I say is for everyone pursuing a personal brand, you must have a primary target audience. Have a primary target audience and have a secondary target audience, right? When you plan your primary target audience, make sure that it's around a decade or something. So for some of us that are career inclined, you want to clearly define your target audience. So it might be around certain size of institution that you love to work with, or certain size of things that you love to work with, or certain size of impacts that you love to make. So you have to define your target audience. It is important. Why? Because your brand, I mean, what determines your brand is actually your target audience. It's actually the solutions that you have. I mean, it's actually the problem that your brand is meeting in there. Note, your vision statement is not built around you. It's built around what you want to achieve for people, right? So here his own problem statement that he has realized that his brand is going to solve is this. He has realized that people don't want to be unemployed. This is target audience. They don't want to be unemployed without income, and they don't want to be dependent. So they will do anything to make money, and they will do anything to survive and to make money. So which is why he's stepping in to help them discover their purpose, to help them align themselves, to help them start to build their career path. So brand role, right? So this is the role, this is his own role in these people's life, right? So it says Chike would help you discover your purpose, gifting, and strength in line with your personality, then offer you guidance on how to build a viable career doing what you are designed to do, doing what you're designed for. Note, is brand role, while vision and mission statement is important, it is important for you to define it, but your brand building, your brand design doesn't just stop there. You drill it down to your brand positioning spectrum, right? Which is why you have to first determine your target audience and insights. Insight means the problem that your target audience is currently facing that you can solve, right? Then you evolve into your brand role, the role your brand is going to fulfill in these people's life, right? So now our case study is saying, Chike, the person can everybody hear me? All right, good. So Chike here would help you discover your purpose, gifting, and strength in line with your personality, then offer guidance on how to build a viable career doing what you're designed for. Now, the benefit, your brand role, then the benefits. I am glad. So these are the out the Chike brand. I am glad I met Chike because I now have clarity. I now have clarity on the brand I need to work on. I need to work to become, and I am being guided on the steps I need to take towards achieving my significance, right? You see, this outcome is what he wants to leave with people every time they come in contact with him. Now, note what I said. The biggest and the most beautiful thing, the best and the most beautiful thing in this world cannot be seen or touched. It can only be felt with the heart. So every time Chike delivers this promise, he has fulfilled his brand promise to people, his personal brand promise to people, right? So it is important for every one of us to start to think this way, So when Chike leaves the earth, or when Chike, yeah, so at the end of the day, this is what people would say about Chike, right? Right? It is also important for us to know that, our career is a means to an end. It is not the end itself. The money we make along the way is a tool to achieving our brand purpose, right? It is not the end results on its own. So why we build successful careers, why it is important for us to move, to be able to make the impact that we're supposed to make, it is not the end. It's a means to an end, right? So this is a sample brand positioning spectrum. Yeah. So then let's move to reason to believe. That for every brand, you must have a solid functional benefit. So don't just create perception. Don't just create this full perception. Don't just create this full perception without rooting it on something. Now, Chike reason to believe is this: 10 years experience on the job, over 10 years on the job experience and training in brand development and communication, certification in brand marketing, brand management, and product and project management, a track record of building new fledgling and innovative offerings into vibrant brands. Chike is a living example of what he preaches. When you determine the end from now for your brand and you determine the role you want to do. So what a good branding does is it determines the next step you will take. It determines the strategic next step you take per time. It determines the brand affiliation you will do. So take, for example, when I was invited to come for this, I took it on because it's in line at all. If it doesn't help me to fulfill my brand promise every time. So there are certifications that some of us need to do to be able to deliver our brand promise. But you must first define your brand, what your brand is meant for, the role your brand wants to play in people's life before you even start to take on projects. See, what school have taught us is that we need to do certifications to get jobs. And they leave us broke. Which is one of the reasons why people go for first degree. After their first degree, they realize that there's no job. People go for second degree. After the second degree, they realize that there's no job. People go for their third degree, their PhD. After they still realize that there's no job, and then they start doing certifications, and they finally just get the job. And the first, after 3-4 months or 1 year, they get tired, they are not inspired, they are not productive, and then at the end of the day, the organization has to sack them. Now how proper brand design can help that person is to take the person back to the drawing board, which is what I'm hoping everyone is doing right now. Let us all go back to the drawing board and first define our brand. Then express our brand, position our brand, defining the reason to believe, why our brand should exist, right? Define our brand and let that determine the next strategic step we will take with our life or with our career. while you cannot solve every problem, but because you have a brand promise, your brand promise should determine the problems you solve. And when you are not solving that problem through what you do, then you should reevaluate your life. So at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, when you're setting your goals, when you're setting your goal for the year, you should set it from a strategic point of view, from your brand point of view. This is what big brands do, multinational brands do. You move strategically from your brand positioning. From a brand position, you move strategically from it. So, right? So the next thing is our brand personality, right? This is very important. You must clearly define what you are as a person, the value that drives you. Yeah, values are means to an end. It is what people experience when they come in contact with your brand. So it is one of the reasons why Simeon Cowell, I mean that guy in X Factor. Why do you think why do we all think it's like that when it's dishing out his feedback? I mean, his brand is built that way. There's a speaker brand that I know that is built to be arrogant. In fact, there comes to tell you that when you have the money, when you start making money, and then you start making much more money, then come and buy us. That's the type of communication that they do. Why you see a Coca-Cola brand friendly, happy? Why you see an MTN brand with their colors, although that brand is messed up? If I don't even let me use MTN brand because I don't rate that brand at all. So when you see a Uniqlo, I mean a Uniqlo on Fifth Avenue in New York. So they designed their experiential store to be a destination for people, such that you come to buy clothes, right? But then there's so many things that you can. So they partner with different beauty. So you come to buy clothes, you can make your hair. So they have a salon there. They have a makeup studio there. They have a barbing salon there. They have so many touch points for people to interact with. And at the core, what they do is to just sell products. They have a coffee shop there. And at the core of it is to just sell products, right? Take, for example, Apple. At the core what they do is to sell products. But they have Apple currently right now sells the most per square meter anywhere in the world. Their retail store sells the most per square meter anywhere in the world. In fact, Apple has the strongest brand in the world right now. And I'll tell you what they did with their retail store, right? They developed a product called Today at Apple. Today at Apple. Why? Because they wanted to turn their retail store into a destination for people, not just a place to buy products, right? Which talks about the personality of the brand, right? Not just a place to buy products. So they did research and then they realized that people use their product for 4 core reasons. People use it to take pictures, people use it to make videos, some people use the iPads to design, to create artwork. And then some people use it to make music, right? So they drill down these 4 things and then they redesign their store around it, such that so they said that they wanted to connect the next generation with their retail store and then connect the community also with their retail store. They wanted their retail store to be a place where Gen Z would hang out, would go to every time. So So they develop programs to train people on how to move from amateur photographer using an iPhone to becoming a professional photographer using an iPhone, right? On how to move from amateur videographer into becoming a professional videographer. So it means that anyone can just sign up. Anyone can just sign up to come for that training. And maybe all you just have is just an iPhone, and then you're enjoying how to take beautiful pictures with it. When you see what someone is creating with an iPad, you will just desire to buy it. You see, they are connecting with us, not selling to us. So your personality shouldn't be to sell to people. It should be to foster connection, right? So just don't be jovial because you want people to buy from you. You know, there's sometimes that there's this general saying that there's this thing around markets, right? That they always say, that I'm talking to you, I'm being nice because of the money that I want to collect from you. That's not the way to bring the brand. So your personality should be to foster connection. So they have a place in their retail store called the conference room or the boardroom. And why they designed that is so that entrepreneurs within the community can come there to have meetings for free. They have a town square within their retail store. Why? Because they just want people to come around and then do whatever they like. So if you go to like New York, you realize that there are different hotspots where someone just brings out the guitar and then just start playing it. They brought that experience into their retail store because they want people to feel connected to the brand beyond just selling. So I'm saying that your personality should be such that you design it to make people connect with your brand, not for you to sell yourself to the brand. No, it's about why and your role in people's life, right? So this brand is jovial, inquisitive, open-minded, and supportive, right? So the last step, please let me know if I've used more than the time. I'm about to round up.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
All right. I'll be having fun and enjoying it.
Yes. So I just want people to type the questions. So right after your session, we'll just start asking the questions to save time.
Okay, great. Okay. So let me just run through. This. Yeah. So this is going to be my final slide, and then I'm going to talk about this. Yeah, managing your ecosystem. So excluding the truth. This is when you then hit the market. You know, I said something, branding and brand communication, right? No matter how well you have crafted your brand, if you don't communicate it effectively, then people won't know it. Then people won't enjoy your brand. You won't fulfill the role that you're supposed to fulfill in people's lives. So it is important that you exude your brand, you communicate your brand, but you don't start. In fact, I always tell people, right? Don't build your brand on social media. Don't build your brand on social media. Build your brand that needs social media. Don't start by building your brand on social media. Build a brand that needs media. So the first thing you do is because your target audience, most of the time determines the channels that you go. So there's some people that you shouldn't be on LinkedIn because your target audience are not on LinkedIn, even for personal brands, right? There's some people that you have no job to be having 10,000, 50,000 followers on Instagram because your target audience are not there. You have no job. There's some people that you need to be on Snapchat. Because you will connect with people, you connect with your target audience there. So your brand determines your channels, not your channel determining your brand. So you don't build your brand on social media, you build your brand on social media, right? So your look and feel is important. Yeah. Now I'm talking about perceived value right now. The way you dress, the way you communicate yourself, the type of content you push out there determines how people perceive your brand a whole lot. Your network and associations, right? A carefully crafted brand would determine association momentum, right? In fact, would help you build real relationships. Because I strongly believe that relationship is all about value exchange. People don't want to be part, don't want to build a successful relationship with a parasite. People want to build relationship with people that they can mutually benefit from, that can mutually benefit from each other. So it is important that you make your brand position determines the network and the relationship that you build. It also determines the social media platforms that you go on, the personality, your presence, your community development initiative. I believe that there are social responsibility that you should not do because it's not in line with your brand. See, the truth is you can't solve every problem, but you can solve the problem that you have been created to solve. You should solve the problem that you have been created to solve. So your brand should determine the community development initiative that you should do. You shouldn't do it out of bottom. You shouldn't do it out of compulsion. You should do it out of the fact that it will help you fulfill your brand objective. Yeah. So your look and feel. You say I am not delving much towards look and feel. Why? Because I know that when you craft your brand communication well, when you craft your brand strategy, but you know it's the direction you should go, you will automatically adjust your look and feel because you are evaluating everything you're doing based on your brand, based on your personal brand. You're not doing it just because you feel like doing it. You're not doing it to show trends. So when you then push forward into design an identity, right, for your brand. So you are expressing your brand essence. You're expressing your brand, what your brand stands for. So when you then go shopping for clothes, you are not shopping because of trend, except your brand is built around trends. It's built to delve into trends so that they can help you connect, right? You're shopping because of who you are, what your brand is all about, and what your brand wants to achieve. So even though people don't understand how you dress, but as long as your brand, your look and feel connect with your brand, you're fine. So good branding even solves esteem problem, right? It solves esteem problem. So when you do photo shoot, when you engage a stylist for photo shoot, right? When you engage a stylist for photo shoot, your brand determines it. For every organizational brand, right? There's a personnel, or there's a persona that we design for brands. So take for example, I was having a conversation with a friend that was, she was with the innovation director of Bloc, innovation and marketing director of Bloc, and then she said that she just spent a day to shadow the guy. And she was telling me that I didn't know that this is how you guys do it, right? That, can you imagine, they were about to shoot an ad and they were deliberating on the people, the type of people that they wanted to use for, not just an ad, they can just use anybody, right? And then they said that no, we have a brand specification, communication. We have a type of person that we can use for our brand. So it is important also for personal brand that you clearly define your look and feel. You clearly define your style, your mode of communication, your channels of communication, what platform on YouTube, what platform on social media you want to use, if you need a website. So you question every platform. You don't just do tradition. You question every platform based on your brand. You question every move based on your brand, and at the end of the day, you would live your truth. All right, so thank you so much for the opportunity to share with everyone. So I will take questions if we have questions. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, David. I don't know whether we should give him a round of applause. How can we describe our excitement?
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, to David, for this session. It was very insightful. So I don't know if we have a question. So we're meant to type our questions on the chat box or raise our hands. But if you have a question, you can unmute to ask. Okay, so do we have questions? Okay, so if we don't have questions, do we have comments or suggestions or feedbacks? Okay, so Moses has a question. So Moses, you can unmute. Okay, so many people are putting in the chat box that I have a question. So I think Moses said, how do you position a brand without, your question is not complete, but.
Can I ask mine?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, thank you, Tubi, for that fine presentation. While you were making all of that, what was in my mind was, okay, how can one personalize this thing and like really delve into the process? Because it's one thing to know all of these things about personal brand, but going on that journey, I think it's a journey of discovery really and rethinking your essence. So I don't know um, if there's any advice you have for anyone that wants to go through that journey of actually rethinking his brand and his positioning. I don't know, from my own point of view, I felt like, okay, if I think external perspective is actually very important when one is building a brand for himself. I think just talking with someone about it, you understand, or maybe you forming a team with someone that you know, so you guys can, maybe you can help him work on his own brand. You're asking him the questions and also giving him insight based on your own perception, and maybe then you can reverse that tone, and then that person too is also asking you questions, and you guys are refining the insight and in line with most of these things you're talking about. So that was just what I thought, but I don't know if you have any other ideas when one wants to go through that journey. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if I can answer now. Yeah, oh, yeah. I agree with you. Brand developing is a journey. In fact, brand building is a journey that never stops. So you need um you need an accountability partner If you can get that, that's great. You need someone that is also passionate about building their brand. That is also very important. So if you can, I mean, that's one of the reasons why this community is here. I mean, I expect that at the end of the day, everyone within this interest group would from today start to deliberately build their brand. So conversations can start to happen here around brand building, around the challenges that each person is facing around building brands, around around this process. But this framework, the framework that I shared with us, and I want to hope that they'll share the documents with everyone. The framework works. It's a framework that can help us define our brand, and then can help us start to embark on that journey to build a very successful brand. So I also agree with you. Accountability partner is always very good. What I can do on my part is for those that are ready to go on this journey. I can coach everyone. I mean, I can give like 1 week. I mean, I can give like a 1 week free advisory thing, such that you can reach me by email, and then I advise you on the next step on what to do next. But then you have to make steps. So you have to first articulate the things that I've shared. So then if you have further questions, if you have further concern, then I can then give you my advice. I mean, about the next step, about what you should do, about things that you should do. Yeah. So someone also asked me. Someone also dropped a question that how do you position a brand first starting out? Okay, how do you position a brand without first starting out on social media? I mean, I believe that see, branding is about building your intrinsic value first. So you don't need social media. If you're a career person, you don't need social media to get a job. You need to define your brand and be so well clear about, because at the end of the day, right? Organizations, we all know this. Organizations don't want, in fact, no longer want to hire people that are not adding value to that organization. Again, you must have that specific value that you're adding to the organization. Now, organization also hire based on culture, based on values, right? So it means that when your personal values align with the organizational value, you're a very fantastic hire for them. Yeah, because every organization is building, they are all building a culture, right? So you don't need to publish it, you don't need to blow yourself up on social media before you do that. So start to build those solutions, start to connect with people outside social media. See, social media can give a false perception of real value. It can give a false perception. I mean, the people heavily shaking the world, we all know are not so active as some influencers on social media. I'm not trying to reduce the impact of the guys doing influencing on social media. If that is their personal, if that is what their personal value is all about, yeah, if it's a tool for them to achieve, then they should do it. So that's one of the reasons why I also said that your strategy, your target audience determines your channels. Your target audience, in fact, your brand essence and your target audience, your brand positioning determines the platforms that you use, which is why the first thing I did was to show us how to define our brand, then to show us how to express our brand, then to show us how to then exude our brand. The last thing usually is always exuding. So you don't go and exude your brand without first defining your brand, positioning your brand, right? So that's what I let your strategy determines your platforms, your tools. Don't make the tools the most important thing first. Let your strategy, let your brand strategy determines the channel you use, determines how you communicate, determines the kind of retweet you should do because you leave footprints across social media, the type of pictures you should post, the type of things you should do. I mean, brand journey is a must be intentional. You have to be disciplined to go on this brand journey. So I'll have been able to answer that question.
Okay, thank you, David. Can you look through the chat box also if you can see some questions?
Yeah, good. Sorry, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, David, for the insightful presentation. I have a couple of questions and clarifications also. Basically, is there a difference because you were speaking about career and at times you're speaking about the companies. So is there a difference between career? Is there a way you take career focused branding or is there a difference? Or like, were you also speaking about career focused branding in terms of branding yourself? Like this is what I want to connect with people with, regardless of where I'm working with. This is what I want my career to be like. Like this is the path I'm trying to take in terms of my career. And related to, okay, yeah, examples are actors. You know, there are times that you really connect to this actor because this is the kind of emotion the person, or this is how you perceive the person, or the role that the person plays. And at times you find out that the role the actor plays in maybe the debut scene could be on the long run what the person keeps, you know, acting on in subsequent roles. So I don't know, is there any advice for people who are career focused? Like, yeah, I don't really have a product I'm building. I don't really have a company I want to build, but this is who I want to be when it comes to my personality and my career in terms of where I'm working and stuff. So is there any advice in that line? And should everyone also, is company related brand, like me building a company, building a product, is it for everyone? That's what another thing I'm trying to ask. Is it for everyone that I have to think about how to solve the problem of the world by creating something for myself, you know, coming up with an idea myself? So, or do I look for people that I can help, you know, looking at it that way, that so that to be my own career focused, you know, so where I put my contribution and it's very significant, and I'm intentional about where I want to work. I'm intentional about what I want to do. So that's another question. Then another one is, do you define yourself first or fit into what you find yourself into, where you find yourself? Let me put it that way. You know, there are some people that when you finish school, you know, there are some people that before they finish school, they've already planned, this is what I want to be regardless. Even some people have that goal from their secondary education, that this is one that I want to be regardless, and they follow it through. While some other people, it's the career they find themselves in, they now try to say, oh, this thing, I think I'm good in this. I think I find myself, I'm very excellent in this. Let me build my brand in terms of this. And even the furthering my career, I can continue in that line. Even some people find themselves that when they find themselves in a career, they find that they are not excelling well in that career, then they switch, you know, and maybe that's when they now brand themselves and switch to a new career where they know they will excel. So do you define that first, or does everybody have to define that first, or try to look at where you fit in? Because this also causes confusion in a lot of people, that even after school, they don't know the kind of companies they just, you know, some people even say, I need a job, you know, they really don't know what they really want to do for help people do. So I have need some clarity. Sorry, I'm kind of relating everything to personal, branding, but I think that will be useful. And I also want you to go, my third question is to go through the define, express, position, and I don't get the last one. So let me just go through my questions again. The difference between career focused and product focused branding. I give example of actors in that sense. Then should everyone be have a company related brand, or should is career focused branding for some people? Then the last one is, do you discover yourself first or fit into where you find yourself? Then I said clarify on those four outlines. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much for that, John. Okay, so I'm going to start with the last question. You should define yourself first before you choose a career. That is the biggest thing you can do to yourself. While I mean, even if you haven't done that before you start your career, it's never too late to start to define yourself first, because that clarity determines. I mean, it will fuel your passion. It will fuel your passion. One reason why, I mean, you must have seen people that 4 years, 10 years into a particular profession, they just realize that they are not fulfilled, they are not happy. Yeah, it is because they chose the route of letting their career determine their brand, or letting what determine their life. You should never let it. You should never let your what determine your life. You should let your why determine it. Why do I exist? Why should people care? Why? That question is the most important question you need to start to answer on your journey to brand building, right? I mean, like I said, I will leave this slide with us, and I hope that they will share it so that everyone can see how to do it. I mean, that was what I did, like a case study, so that we can see it come to reality, how to actually define these things. So I have the elements that we use to create those things also there. So the best thing, the most important thing is don't ever define your brand by what you do. You must define your brand by why you do it, right? Because that should determine every other thing you do. That should determine the next step for how you apply for the job, how you go for the interview, what you put on when you go for the interview, your look and feel. It should determine it, right? So about product brand and personal brand, whether personal brand should always have a product brand. I would say this, and I'll be clear with you, right? Your personal brand is not built around products, but can your personal brand have a product to be able to achieve its purpose? Yes, it can. So take, for example, you don't want to be a career person. You want to be an entrepreneur. Now, your personal brand shouldn't be built around the fact that I am an entrepreneur. It should be built around the fact that why am I an entrepreneur? What is that dent that I want to leave in the universe as an entrepreneur? What solution am I bringing to people as an entrepreneur? Define yourself first. Then if you now think you need to launch a product to be able to take you on a journey to achieving that, then do it. If you think you don't need to launch a product, in fact, for some people, they just think that they need to just have the foundation to be able to do that, then they should do it. Simple. So the route to market is not to start the business first. It's to first define the brand, and then to then make strategic decisions based on the brand, right? So you don't start a business first, and then you don't create the product first and then define your brand by the product. You define your brand first, and then you now in fulfilling your why, right? If a product helps you fulfill it, then you should go for it. You should do the product, right? Now for career people also, see, Personal brand is personal brand. In fact, as a CEO, you should have a personal brand that is different from your business brand. Now, your business brand can take a cue from a personal brand, but your personal brand should not be defined by your business. For career people, your role in your organization shouldn't define who you are, because you have a strong-term goals. Because someone that can do better in that role will come. So take, for example, you're a graphic designer. You are not a graphic designer. What is the why? Why are you a graphic designer? What do you want to achieve with your visual designs? How do you want to leave a dent in the universe with your visual designs? So I feel that the moment we all start to answer that question, we ask ourselves and we answer that question, we start to live a life of fulfillment, we start to live a life of impact, a life living our brand, right? So I hope I've been able to give clarity to your question.
Okay.
Yes,
I hope
thank
you
you.
have. Okay, great. So thank you so much for the session.
I have a question.
Okay, so can we do it in 1 minute, please? The question and the answer in 1 minute, please go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, my first question is, how do you streamline a broad brand idea to achieving a specific goal? Then the second one is, how do you manage your personal brand to keep running alongside your job as an employee? So how do you merge both together, the timing and all, to keep your personal brand growing and still keep your job your job at the office going as well? Then the third question is, how do I repair my brand identity? Like when I started the brand, I had this, this ideas inside of me, and I just want to roll all out, then not minding what and what should be done first. Now I'm at the point of, okay, I think I'm getting exhausted. What do I do next? So how do I repair this? Then the number one question is very important, and number two is very important. I will appreciate if David can actually talk about it.
All right. Okay. Okay, so the first one is, how do you streamline a broad brand idea into
Yes.
Into what? Into
Achieving a specific goal, like
achieving a specific goal. Yeah.
yes.
So if you look at the presentation, your brand idea shouldn't be too broad. It shouldn't be
Okay.
vague, right? So it should be actionable. It should be something you can achieve. Yeah, but then, I get the specific goal. So take, for example, what you then do is, after you must have defined your brand, right? So you can then use your brand to determine your 1 year, your 2 years plan.
Okay.
Yeah, because brand building is not a 1 week journey. It is not a 1 year journey. It is what you will do for the rest of your life, right? So you put your brand strategy, or your brand definition, your brand essence, you put your brand at the forefront, and then you use it to determine the next goal for the next 1 year. So it could be, so your goal to fulfilling your why could be to do X, Y, and Z for the next 2 years. Now, when you reach that goal, you go back to the drawing board. You go back to your essence. You will then ask yourself, what do I need to do next to fulfill my brand, to live my why, right? So you take steps based on your why, right? So you set something. You asked the final question you asked was, you got to the point where you attire, and then probably you've even fulfilled, or you're exhausted, and you don't know what next to do. What next to do is to go back to your brand, is to go back to your why. Once your why is intact, it will fuel your passion. It would see, if you think from why why your brand exists, why you exist, why your brand exists, why people should care. The solution you're bringing to the universe, right? From your brand point of view, your brand role in people. When you think from that point, creative ideas will come on what to do next. In fact, when some of us start to think about in fact, let me use it as an example. I mean, let me use companies as an example. There are so many companies that should, in fact, when Steve, we must have seen the movie, right? When Steve Jobs left Apple, they delved into hundreds of products. They were putting the logo on so many things, clothing, so many things. And when he came back, the first thing he did was to cut down and go back to the essence of the brand. We want to put computers in every office. We want to make life and living better. So they focused on three core products, right? So it is important. It is important to think from your brand, to strategize from your brand point of view before you make a decision, before you even launch a business, before you even choose a career, before you even start a business, before you even take the next employment, or before you even take the next step, before you even join a certain group, before you even go for a certain party. Is it going to help you? Is it going to help you achieve that why? If you ask yourself that question every time, it will move it to the next level, right? So now your final question is, how do you juggle personal brand with your business brand, right? The first, your business is a tool to achieving your personal brand. So your business, so as long as you are in line, your business is in line with your personal brand, then you're fine. What we just need to talk about is how do you communicate it differently? How do you have your personal, how do you communicate your brand differently from your business brand? It is simple. The way your business brand have our own persona, you should also have your own voice, your own unique voice, right? And your own unique voice is must be heard from your own name. So it means because and I'll explain it like this: your business is not your destination, is a means to your destination. So it is one thing you have created in achieving your personal brand goal, in achieving your why. It is not the only thing that you create, right? So you have to build a persona and create the platform for the business to communicate, to do whatever business need to do. So take example, you're working in an organization. So while you must be good at your job, you must also have a voice. You must also have a voice because I know that the job of the future is going to be for people that have a unique personal brand. And I would explain that, right? Because technology is going to take over so many things, right? You must be able to move beyond functional benefit, which is if you're an accountant, you need to be able to deliver a value to your organization beyond your technical ability as an accountant. So which is why critical thinking is important, which is why design thinking is important, which is why so your brand is actually rooted in that. So you must be able to become so big. In fact, you must be able to become so big that your company needs you to be part of the organization because you add so much value to the organization beyond what they are paying you for or beyond the job that you're doing. All right. So
thank you so much, David. I know you're so selfless and you don't mind talking all day. So the next step is Anthony. So
I have a question.
David is going to put his email on the slide is sharing. so that you can have conversations with him after the call. And I can even give his number to that. So should we take Anthony's question? I don't know. I don't want this to exceed 1 o'clock. Anthony, don't worry. I'll connect you with David. I'll connect you with David.
All right. All right.
So David, would love your final thoughts, and then right after then, Emanuela will give us a closing remark so that we leave you at 1.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity to share with us. I'm a strong believer that we are in a world of connectivity. People are looking for something to believe in. People are looking for that unique idea to believe in, for a purpose to believe in. The world is in a bad shape that we all need to go back to our essence. I'm not just live for what. So I pray and I hope that as we move beyond this, we will really go back to that core essence, right? So that's why we exist beyond what we do, to be able to help other people live a better life. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, David. Yeah, I want to say a big thank you to everyone that took our time to come out for this session, even till the very end. I want to say a very big thank you. And like Nonye has said earlier, if we have any other questions, David's email will be provided, and we can forward these questions to him. Also, would like each and every one of us to take our time to join our WhatsApp group that we posted in the chat box. You can just click on the link here. You can join our WhatsApp group. From there, more information will be passed across. The video that was recorded of this session would also be posted on that platform. And also other information for live seminars like this and webinars that will be coming in the future would be information about this communicated to us through that platform. So I want to endeavor that we join our WhatsApp platform and to get more information. Also, I once again I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of us, and I hope that this session has really been enlightening, and we would take our time to apply them in our daily life, and I'm sure it's going to give us the results that we desire. Do have a blessed day, everybody. Enjoy your week, have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you next time. And we'll also meet on the group chat. Thank you.